All right, finally, round 3 of week 5 of season 22 against CDM Warrior. This person has not attacked yet at all, so I assume they're not playing, but you never know, they might come back for this last round. But they also have the kitchen sink on defense, so even if he does come back, I don't think they'll be able to clear me. But yeah, Daring Warriors, Blue Marvel. This very tricky Mephisto, Damon Yo-Yo, Rachel, and Sentry comp. Phoenix Force, Odin, and Breaker. New Mutants with Professor X. Exalted with Darkstar, and finally a slight variation on the Symbiote Annihilus team. I'm guessing, so this one's interesting because if you do the correct Immortal X-Men sack, then Thanos isn't really doing anything, and this probably breaks the normal counters because usually you're not stopping speed bar with what you come in here. But we have an updated counter for this now that seems fairly reliable. But yeah, combination of him not logging in or them not logging in, whatever, and lots on defense means we get to test a few things because this definitely stretched my offense quite a bit. So we got to try a few things that worked and figured out some things that we'll have in the back pocket for next time. So let's look at the attacks. So stage 1, this is Blue Marvel with Daring Warriors. So this was a one-shot, but was also very risky. I don't know that I would do this again, or I might, if I do it again, I need to change some ISOs to help people survive, because you'll see how iffy it gets. It might still work, but I don't know that I would 100% trust it. So the whole concept here is, well, you know, all these characters are good against Daring Warriors, but Blue Marvel is at risk of just killing someone outright, which is a big problem. So the whole idea here is, well, Mephisto's here for extra health, and then Breaker is going to go before everyone else here, and on his turn he's going to heal everyone up. So as long as nobody dies to Blue Marvel Ultimate, everyone else should kind of rebalance, because he's also going to decay the debuff. So Breaker's good for eating a hit and then rebalancing your team. However, Blue Marvel does his hit, and then once all the procs are done, I don't know if you saw it, but Sentry and Mephisto were both like a sliver away from death, and then Breaker takes his turn and he heals them back up. So if these two had died, this would have gotten way spicier, and actually Sentry is really important to not die. So, you know, maybe him being a fortifier is required, because it's better for him to survive and do less damage than to die and just do the void thing. But anyway, Breaker goes. He almost one-shots Blue Marvel. This guy is 3 diamonds. He hits like an absolute truck, but he almost basically just killed Blue Marvel on his own. His special can be blocked, which is why I just went into Blue Marvel, but it still did really good damage to Daredevil here. So yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe I should have hit this trio instead, or this trio instead. But anyway, then Eclipse does her special. So where she hits is important, so, and there was a little bit of RNG here, because if she had hit over here, I suspect these guys die. And then what's really important the Sentry does with his special is that he flips negatives. So this guy was going to get blinded, but because Sentry goes, that gets flipped to immunity, which means his special actually gets to do something, because without immunity he's going to get blinded, and the blind won't do anything. You can give the rest of your team immunity, but that's still quite a lot of damage missing. So you know, super risky attack, but again, was kind of curious to see if they could pull it off. But I did get some pretty good RNG here, because now Blastar gets to do this. This can be blocked, but it takes away 10% health, so it's good regardless. Plus it gives your entire team immunity and barrier, but you don't get the barrier with Daring Warriors here. Then since Mephisto survived, he gets to basically just delete Thrasher, which is a big source of damage. And then I just went into Thunderstrike to finish them off, and they all kind of fall over. So it worked, but I could definitely see it not working with some bad targeting. You probably need like Gwen as a pre-taunt here, but then I don't know who you take out for this, because everyone here is kind of doing something. I guess the alternative here is to try to Daemon this, but if this was a 5 diamond Eclipse and 5 diamond Thrasher, this would have been a disaster, and I probably would have needed to sack this first and then come in with this just to get it done, because again, there was a lot on defense, so I didn't have a lot of options, but I was kind of curious to see if they could survive this. So I don't think that I would trust this attack under normal circumstances. Stage 2. So I was expecting to need to double sack this, but I was kind of hoping this attack would have killed at least Sentry, and if it did, I would have just immediately gone to my my Fantastic Four. I think I slightly misplayed this because I think I could have killed Sentry here, but unfortunately I didn't do the correct ISO setup for that. So let's see what happens. Oh yeah, so basically this team is impossible to get ahead of. Sentry takes care of speed, stat, speed bar, and Anti-Emma. Rachel makes sure you can't do any Fury bullshit, and then Yo-Yo and Damon are really early damage plus assists for Sentry, which means you're basically guaranteed to eat these three, Yo-Yo, Sentry, and Damon before your team probably ever gets to go. So we brought in Immortal Weapon because they can't be crit, they have a bunch of damage reduction on them, and Thanos is just here for a little extra tickle. So the idea is that they can actually soak out a bunch of attacks and maybe kill one person. So as you can see here, some good damage. Sentry unfortunately does put out a heal block, so he's not really going to do too much, but Thanos did what he's meant to do. Then Damon goes, he provides a double tap, but because he can't crit, it doesn't really matter. So here's the problem. I think if Lady Bullseye was a striker and this guy was a skirmisher and I got the combo in on Damon, then this may have just killed him. Because it does a lot of damage, and the assist does take him low. It's hard to know though, because the order of operations with the death proof may have prevented the kill. It's kind of hard to know, but I think if I had to do this, next time, which I hope there isn't, then I would just set up a different combo. But anyway, Mephisto also gets to go now. It gives a bunch of buffs. Also, I guess it did a Raider crit on him. I don't know why he died, or I guess he took a turn, but it looked like it blasted him, so I'm not sure, and I can't pull up the UI to see if this guy's a Raider, but let's assume he is. Then Rachel goes, kills a bunch of people, gets a bunch of speed bar as well. The other problem with this is that Damon keeps getting energy for kills, which does make cleanup sometimes harder. So let's just go straight into I'm going to skip the next hit because it is just a Hail Mary sack, because Mephisto's going to open up with his ultimate, and I'd kind of run out of options, and the safe bet here, just to make sure that I can clear, was to do 2 sacks and then just come in with Fantastic Four, because I don't have to worry about a lot of their abilities. Now the problem is, Sentry here does still have his ultimate, because this sack here, actually, they all died before Sentry could take a turn. So Shuri is here solely to prevent assists, because assists are how this guy gets speed bar, which means I can kill him before he ults my face off. So let's see. I made her a fortifier as well just to make sure she doesn't die. So as you can see here, Yo-Yo is going to do this. No assist, so we're good. Damon is on his special again. So Shuri dies here, but the assist still doesn't come out, so that's fine. And now I get to go and basically kill them straight up, because Sentry did not get a bunch of speed bar to come in and do his ultimate, because the ultimate would probably just kill me, honestly. But otherwise, this is pretty straightforward. It's just 4 turns because they've been, they're double exhausted. They don't really have a lot of abilities. But yeah, this was not that fancy, but it guaranteed that I could clear. All right, so stage 3. This is an interesting comp. I think I could have one-shot it, but I got resist checked, and I suspected this might happen. I should have made my Professor X a skirmisher, but I was just being a little bit stubborn and, hoping it wouldn't matter, but it did. So let's see what happens here. I mean, this is kind of just a normal Professor X comp, except, the usual problem of having Magneto and Breaker, depending on who wins the coin flip can be problematic. So, like, ideally Breaker goes first, because then he would hit into my Dormammu and Gwen, and she would dodge it. This Dorm is going to die no matter what. And then Magneto goes, hits into my Gwen, and there's nothing else here, so that's the least amount of damage. But unfortunately, Magneto went first, which means Breaker can hit anywhere, which is why bringing Quasar here is kind of mandatory. So yeah, this is the bad RNG for me. because now Breaker can hit anywhere. He decides to hit into Silver Surfer Breaker special on Quasar, so these two. Which is fine, because again, my Jeff would have dodged it anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. Boop, boop. One-shots my, how big is this guy? Just one-shots Quasar. How many diamonds is this guy? Oh, he's also 3 diamonds. Okay, that makes sense. So yeah, he kind of annihilates my my Quasar, and it's interesting that death does not remove the unstable anomaly. But yeah, my Professor X barely survives here. So I still do the special onto Mega Red. That was a mistake, because he retaliates, which triggers the unstable anomaly, which makes Breaker just murder him. And then my Professor X dies on his turn. So yeah, Dormammu was the right choice. The problem that's coming up, though, is that all this damage that I'm doing right now is irrelevant, because Odin's just going to heal it all up, which we expected. Now, we get a somewhat lucky, what's it called? Time Warp, so we get to do some damage. Then Gwen does her special, which is some good damage, and just flips a bunch of that shit. Unfortunately, because Gwen won the coin flip with Professor X, we do get a swipe, and you know, Professor X almost died to that, which would have been crazy. So it's a good thing we actually flipped the offense up off of him. Now here's the problem. Professor X special will remove the battlefield effect, but it's also meant to remove charged. And while Odin has charged, I don't know why I did that. He's got extra damage reduction while charged, more damage reduction, and more resistance, basically. And the problem is, if you get resist checked here, which I do, boop, and he keeps his charges, that means he doesn't get the defense down, he doesn't get the blind, he doesn't get the trauma, so this Odin, it has free reign to do whatever he wants now. And he's got speed stat, I'm pretty sure, because of the charges, so that means he's going to get around to his turn a lot faster. Yeah, see, he's got like double speed. So it's kind of weird, because if you make him a skirmisher, I guess you remove the charges, but then Omega Red's going to stick around, and I don't know if him being alive is good or bad. I guess he's going to be blinded, but he's not going to be ability blocked, so he would then probably kill me. So it's a bit of a weird, like, you hope here that the charges are removed, because if they're not, you're in trouble. So at this point, I realize this is not going to be a double tap. Or sorry, this is going to be a double tap, so I might as well just kill off people. Yeah, the assists are also a problem here, but you see Odin gets his turn really fast. Does another basic, which hurts quite a bit. Kills my Professor X, unfortunately. Now he's dropped his charges and is ready to ultimate, and that just ends it. So at least it ends on the ultimate, so the cleanup is super easy, and we can kind of just go into that. But yeah, this is an interesting comp. I was debating if I needed to bring Old Man Logan here, because that guarantees that the charges won't go up on Odin, assuming my Old Man Logan survives to get to that turn, which I don't think realistically he would, because of how much damage is coming out, and you know, getting the bad RNG. Plus, who do I put next to Gwen at that point? Because they're probably going to die no matter what. So it was kind of not an easy choice. So I still think I would do this in the future, and pray, or bring something like Daring Warriors, but you'll see they're reserved for something else. So the cleanup here is kind of old school, just fun. You know, an Odin with no charges gets weavered pretty easily, and these other two are also pretty low. The one thing I was worried about was Phoenix killing my my Weaver, but luckily that doesn't happen, because she comes back. Yeah, it takes her to half health. If she had immediately gone, she would have killed her. But I have too much speed bar, plus she's 127, so she would always go before her. So she just needed to survive the passive, which she does. I could have also stunned the Phoenix here, but I decided not to, because it's whatever. And then yeah, once Weaver goes, this is over, because this guy is never going to basically heal up ever again. So I'm actually just killing Phoenix here as a priority, because I assume that Odin's going to die anyway. Which, what did he heal from there? He just healed a little bit. And I'm not sure from what. But anyway, he didn't bleed out, but also he's not going to heal again. So yeah, Execution's kind of killing him there, but they all kind of just fell over. So Weaver's always a fun cleanup for Odin, but it's really rare to see Odin on defense these days. Stage 4, we're going to skip this one. This is the one that I decided not to deal with and just, you know, used a Brimstone comp. This is also why I don't put Professor X with them, because it's just free. You're already daemoning this. Anything you add in here is also free, and Professor X here just does not do much for you. So moving on to 5. So this one is interesting. Darkstar is here to remove the battlefield effect from Odin, because she goes right after him. And my thinking with this first attack was, well, that's fine. I'm just going to bring Emma, who goes before her, and will ability block her. But there's one thing I didn't know about Darkstar's kit that now I do. Because when someone dies, she will do her passive, and now she has Safeguard and Immunity, and I did not realize that kills trigger that. So what happened here was then, you know, I have no way of stopping the battlefield effect removal. There's also some RNG here because she ended up with multiple debuffs, and sure, I cleared the stun, but I also could have gotten unlucky and not cleared the stun. So originally I had Breaker here. Breaker's like the guaranteed ability block, but you know, he's still not going to ability block Darkstar in this scenario. So even if I had brought him, it wouldn't have mattered. So I kind of play this out a little bit, kind of curious to see what'll happen, but I had already used Odin's basic before I realized, like, wait, why does she have immunity? And then I was like, oh, okay, I've missed something. So avoided one trap and fell into another one because I didn't realize that she does that on kill. So, I mean, at this point, there's no, I'm not going to show it. I take this up until Odin basically dies to morph. I was curious to see if he would survive. But basically what that means is you just need to not lose someone on the opener, and then it's business as usual. Because once Odin gets the BFE, Jubilee doesn't matter too much. Because the more turns they take, the more damage Odin is doing to them anyway. So what we do here is we swap Captain Britain in for Red Guardian, and we make him a skirmisher. Excuse me. So what that means is Morph is going to actually hit into Red Guardian, who's very tanky. See, he doesn't even go to half health. Then Storm goes. Everyone is still pretty healthy. But here's the problem. This is a lot of debuffs. There's no way that Odin Swipe is going to remove this stun. Like, I mean, there's a chance, but also there's a good chance it's not. So I figured here I'm going to try and see if I'll just special. Because I can give everyone speed up at this point. And their damage is not great, so I'm just going to special, guarantee that Odin can basically survive to take another turn. And Emma can still, she can still ability block Angel instead, which is good, because that means he's going to stop his silliness early. Because if you ability block him, he'll basic, and when he basics, he removes the vitality. Anyway, I do the special here anyway, just to remove the offense up, because again, I'm just trying to survive at this point. I probably should have targeted him, but he doesn't heal himself either, so it's fine if he's low. I ability block Jubilee here, because why not? She's the one that could have done something here with her ultimate potentially, but I guess everyone has immunity, so maybe it wouldn't have mattered, so I could have just done someone else, but they're all taking a ton of damage from offense up assist with Odin. Julie does a basic. Angel now does a basic, so I'm no longer worried about his heals. And I've looped back to Odin basic, so it's over. So this is interesting. It also saves Captain Britain. I wouldn't do this against full Exalted because Wolverine definitely changes this equation. But if you've got a monster team that can survive, then maybe this can still work. But I'd be worried about it. But anyway, the rest of this is pretty straightforward. Boop. And I mean, it's over because the assists from Odin are basically just murdering everyone. Just a basic, and Jubilee's dead. So yeah, good to know that she gets immunity on kill, and that's what you have to avoid. But otherwise, there's a lot of ways of stopping that Darkstar. You just need to make sure she does not get a kill. And finally, the Symbiote Nihilist variant. So I'm not going to show this first one because it's just an Immortal X-Men sack. But then just full Daring Warriors takes it. And I suspect it will work with the full Symbiote version as well. I mean, we'll see if Quicksilver changes that, but for now, this works. So after the sack, this guy's just doing a basic, that's fine. The Nihilist is also doing a basic. My Thrasher's going to get hard focused, by the way, so if he wasn't 5 diamonds, he would have been dead, which is kind of crazy. I do the Eclipse special on this trio. No vulnerable on a Nihilist, as is tradition. Null is also basicing, but he's blinded, so who cares? The little minion's going, again, who cares, because the blinds are pretty helpful here. Super Skull basic is unavoidable, but also can be blocked, so it doesn't really do anything. Now, see, this guy took a lot of damage, despite the passive ping being blockable, so I'm kind of surprised at how much damage he took, but the defense up makes the ping hit harder. So anyway, we do the Thrasher ultimate. There's a lot of good stuff. Still no vulnerable on a Nihilist. That's 2 Raiders that have hit into him so far. Which I guess the Raider part is irrelevant, but there's a 50% chance for every hit by a Raider to give you a vulnerable, and I'm just not winning any of those. But anyway, I'm just hard focusing a Nihilist at this point. A vulnerable there would have been great because of the bleeds that it gives out, but it wasn't meant to be. Jessica ultimate to call in a bunch of assists. I should probably bring her to ISO 5 as well now, since this attack seems to be somewhat reliable. They're still taking turns, but it doesn't really matter. They don't have anything left that can really threaten me. So I loop back down to the ultimate, which does a ton of good damage. This guy's only 7 red, but I'm pretty sure on a 1 diamond this would have been fairly similar. Although having said that, I suspect 1 diamond this guy is dead at this point. And if he dies, honestly, I don't know if this works anymore, so it still gets weird. Because now I give myself death proofs, so I'm less worried, but he just ended up taking a lot of random damage. But anyway, we just removed the rod from a Nihilist, so we're not too worried about him. And at this point, it's just cleaning up. It's still a lot of turns, so I'm just going to speed through these, but yeah, I don't know if the Quicksilver version is going to be worse or not. I mean, Super Skrull here doesn't do too much, so if Quicksilver was here doing a basic, that's probably worse. But as you can see, like, they just keep hitting into Thrasher nonstop. It's crazy. So there's definitely a bad RNG version of this where you don't clear the rod, but I think worst case, you can still kill everyone else and then just clean up a solo Nihilist. But yeah, this is pretty good, and it works. We'll keep Daring Warriors on offense, or continue to do that, I guess, to see next week if this can still work or not. But otherwise, yeah, I assume my opponent is not going to attack if they do all splice it in, but if you don't see anything after this, it means they never did, so we'll see you next week.